Ended up in foster care around 8 years old. Went into foster care due to my mom having some major drug issues. She had a bad drug habit and actually endangered our lives. So we had some siblings that were affected physically. And basically, yeah, my twin brother and myself, we were the youngest siblings, and she got some threats saying that that we were next. And so my sister made the call to the state, and they came, they took us out of the home, and yeah, we went right into foster care for our safety.
What was your relationship between you and your birth mom?
It was more of a distant relationship. I mean, we knew the love was there, but as far as affection, things like that, like it was pretty absent. Mom was always out doing stuff. She did everything that she could. She just, she fell short in a lot of areas. I don't want to say it's her fault, but it was a decent relationship. I wish we had more, but we didn't.
So what made you move from Flint to Atlanta?
Senior year, like it was just right before school had started, and we borrowed one of my uncle's cars. He was like a drug dealer, and we borrowed one of his cars. We didn't think he was gonna let us get it, but he did. And so when we took this car, we just driving around town, showboating and showing off a real fancy car. And man, I don't know if some guys, I don't know if they were trying to steal it. I'm not sure what they was doing, but they came after us, and it was a little bit of a shootout.
A little bit of a shootout.
Yeah, between the guys and my uncle, man. My uncle ended up getting shot. I think the guys were trying to steal the car, honestly, but he actually identified one of the guys. It was a guy that went to our school, and it was actually an underclassman. And so we were like, okay, was it about the car or was it something personal? So just to kind of cool things down, my adoptive mom, she ended up sending us down to Atlanta with my uncle for 2 weeks, but we ended up just staying. We never went back to Flint. So
yeah, stuff like that don't really cool down after just 2 weeks.
Right, yeah. So we ended up down there and just explored other options as far as schooling down in Atlanta.
Yeah, it seemed like you had a really good family that was willing to take care of you when the time came.
When the time came, definitely, yeah. My Uncle Art, he definitely stepped up to the plate and did what he had to do to make sure we were safe, that we was good. And for him to extend the offer, because like I said, it was only supposed to be for 2 weeks, but he pulled us to the side. He was like, look, man, do y'all really want to go back to Flint, or, we can just have you stay down here. We can start looking at some colleges once y'all graduating and try to, create something from there. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it's always good to have people that's on your side, because that could really be the difference maker. If they wasn't there, maybe you would have stayed at school. Could have got to an altercation due to the fact that you was just surrounded by someone that was in the lifestyle and could have got shot.
I can tell you now, we would have stayed in Flint, it would have been bad. I can tell you that right now.
I think so as well.
Yeah. I was really going through a tough time with my daughter, the situation with my daughter and her mom. Her mom was really dragging me through the mud with this whole child support situation. I was getting locked up. Anytime I would, come up short on payment or anything, like she would go file paperwork, they would come snatch me right out of the barbershop and they would lock me up. I ended up getting fired from the barbershop because they kept coming to get me. So then once I got fired from the barbershop, I'm in between, I'm looking for another place to work, I'm not able to make payments because I'm not making any money. And she was just going filing paperwork. Yeah. And I mean, they would, pull me over or whatever. I got a warrant or something. And I would just keep going to jail.
The situation with your child's mom, do you feel as if your mom has something to do with that?
Definitely, it definitely plays a part. It stems from a couple of things. One, my mom, when we ended up in foster care, she had a lot of different chances to correct her habits, and then, she could get us back. And she failed every single time. It was sometimes that she would try and fail, but then there were other times where she didn't even try. right? So then me and my brother ended up getting adopted by our foster parents after it was years that went by. So man, you take that stuff, like there was no real strong male presence. So I feel like we were kind of clinging to whatever we could, whatever female that we could. Mm-hmm. So I think that led me down a path of
getting with somebody that you have no business
with. Yes. So I met my daughter's mom. I was 21, young, just kind of getting into my adulthood. And it started out okay, but man, it just took a real bad, nasty turn, and it's been that way ever since.
Yeah, that's one thing about going through bad situations from parents. I also dealt with parental issues, and it caused me to be put in a place where I was in lustful love. So everybody that I met, I was so in lustful love that I would put myself in situations that I have no business being in. But Definitely. Because of the fact that I was longing for something that I didn't have for such a long time, I put it into somebody. And not only just that love, I kind of made them like God, because when they was up, I was up. When they was down, I was down. Depending on their actions, they determined my actions, because I didn't have that love within myself. I was too busy trying to find it within other people. So yeah, been there, done that, and yeah, it really teaches us though. It teaches us how to find the proper people once we identify the fact that we are looking for love in the wrong places.
In the wrong places, definitely. Yeah, I definitely learned that lesson. It was a hard lesson, but I learned. and honestly, man, it just over the years I've developed, and I know my worth, and that actually takes a little bit of learning to actually know yourself, mm-hmm. and know what you bring to the table, and just knowing your worth. And when you know that you don't deserve certain things, you won't put up with certain things. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I definitely had to learn.
When you are putting up with situations you know you don't have to, it is you showing yourself that you don't value yourself enough to put yourself out the situation, because you are longing for something. And when you are longing for something, you tend to do kind of dumb things.
Yeah.
I was the king of young and dumb things when I was young.
Yeah. Man. So between that, the situation with my daughter, looking for a place to work, because I knew I wanted to cut hair. I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to stay as grounded as I can to work my craft, but it was tough. I wasn't able to find any place to work. So what I ended up doing was I called my sister, who lived in Phoenix, mm-hmm. and I called her to borrow some money.
So you got to a point to where you were so much in debt, or so into a situation.
Just back against the wall. Yeah.
You had to go.
So now I'm trying to. I need a loan. I need some money. And she was just like, you ever thought about coming to Phoenix? I'm like, no. I'm not coming to no damn Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, like we don't over there, man. You don't even hear about Phoenix unless it's one of the sports teams, honestly. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, no, I'm not coming out there. She said, man, well, just come visit and tell me how you like it. So I came, and man, immediately she said, hey, when you come, bring those clippers. That's all I'm gonna tell you. And when I got here, she had different people in the neighborhood that needed haircuts. She had co-workers, and I had no idea there was that many African Americans here, period. You know what I'm saying? So after every haircut, it was, hey, all right, man, so what you gonna do? You moving or what? Because we need you bad. And like, I was just like, man, okay, my people need me.
But that's super bad, sure.
Yeah, and I felt something in my spirit. I felt something, and it was just like, man, next move is Phoenix.
There was people here that found value within you.
Yeah.
So it made you see yourself in a brighter light.
Definitely.
Was there any other connections that was around you that really express that made you feel as if the wisdom that you gained from learning from the past situation?
The first person, I got to give credit to my sister for just having the belief that she knew I would be able to come out here and make a difference. The second person, man, I met immediately my wife. I met my wife, and she put a fire in me that I have never seen before. She showed me that I was capable of doing things that I didn't even know that I was capable of doing. And all that she simply did was she gave me the room to be a man. For a long time, man, I classified myself as a little boy. And this actually goes back to after I graduated high school. I watched a lot of seniors. Man, I just watched all my friends going out, and they getting businesses, they doing all these things with their life. And I'm just like, man, what am I going to do? And I was that way for a long time. So when I finally got to Phoenix and I'm meeting these great people, and they were just instilling all this power within me, especially my wife, since I give her so much credit. But I truly felt like a man. Like I started accomplishing things that, I started answering those questions that I was asking myself. When are you going to be able to afford to pay 100% of the rent? Or when are you going to be able to have a business? When are you going to? And so once I start answering these questions within myself, and I'm watching myself do these things, and I'm just looking at her, and she's just looking at me smiling, because it's like, I saw it in you the whole time. Maybe the others didn't believe in you, because a lot of women I deal with, they try to tell you how to be a man. Yeah.
Let's stop right there. See, that's the difference between someone that's with you to try to make you out to who they want you to be,
right,
versus someone that see the king in you and allow you to grow into the being that you are meant to be. She gave you not only the room, but she gave you the belief. The times where you didn't believe in yourself, you could feed off her belief. Like, it was a 100-100 relationship. I talk about this book all the time. I'm writing a book called 100-100 Relationship, because 50-50 isn't good enough. When you are able to give and get from your partner, they're not there just to exist, but they are there because they are giving you energy that you cannot get alone.
Definitely.
It's a very, very, I think y'all have one of the most beautiful relationships.
I appreciate it, man.
That's all due to the fact that y'all give into each other. Where she lack, you have. Where you lack, she have.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful story, a beautiful, beautiful love story.
That was really one of the moments where I knew that she was going to be my wife, was when I saw myself accomplishing things that, because it was sometimes in the past I was questioning myself. So I'm like, damn, man, what am I going to do? How am I? So once I started accomplishing, all of these things, I'm just like, that's my wife.
This is it.
She got my back 100%. She put the power inside of me that I didn't even know that I had. I definitely, she gets all the credit. She gets
a good relationship come into your life to make it better. We are not getting into relationships to be burdened. We're not getting into relationships to be miserable.
Right.
When you look for someone, that's why I tell people, do not look for someone out of a longing for love, but instead build so much love up within yourself to when you go out and find someone, I want to share my love with you. You realize that this woman was so dope, and she was giving into you like, yep, I want to give my life to you. I want to give my last name to you. I want to give my heart to you because of the fact that I realize how dope I am. I realize how dope you are.
Definitely, man.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So now you're doing everything that you had doubted yourself with.
Yes.
Now you got your own business. Now you're doing things that 5 years ago you would have never thought was possible.
Definitely.
And it just shows you that how little time it takes for you to make a decision and say, I'm going to take control over my life. It took a little decision for you to say, I'm going to go ahead and take this move to reset my life so that I can take control over it and do everything I need to do in Phoenix, Arizona, where I'm needed, where I see a need from the people that I can satisfy. And that's where wealth comes from. We are able to satisfy needs. And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
if you was to tell the people one thing or multiple things, but how many things you want to tell them, what would you tell the people?
Really look at the folks around you, whether it's family, friends, whatever it is, relationships, whatever. Really look at what's around you and decide if you are happy or not. If you are not happy, then you need to change your surroundings. One of the best things that I was able to do was move somewhere, start brand new. But once I started brand new, I was really able to control who I let into my circle, what type of people that I wanted to go out and mingle around with or whatever. But I was really able to control, and that was, I felt myself taking control of my life. And I think that's one of the first decisions you need to make. I mean, outside of looking within yourself and realizing whether you're happy or not. If you're not happy, you have to be the one to make that change. And sometimes it might be a drastic change, you know. It was a drastic change for me. I moved out here with a suitcase with my clippers and some socks and some underwear. And that was it.
And look at you now.
And look at me now, man. So I think that was one of the biggest lessons, is just changing your surroundings and changing the people around you can really affect the things that you have going forward.
I love that. 100%. Take control of your life. You can do it. You have the ability to become a powerful individual. You have purpose. You are amazing. Do not let nobody tell you that you are incapable of anything. You have the ability to see past what other people see, to build your future, even if it's out of nothing. As long as you have the belief, the faith, and the mentality, you can do what this man did. And this man is not even done yet, so you're not done yet either. So with that being said, I am
Super
and
Kings Mode.